A story recently made the rounds online about an Australian woman and her Lebanese husband enjoying a quiet evening barbecue on their balcony in Calais, a town on the Mediterranean coast. The viral tweet reads, "She told him, 'Look, babe, it's a shooting star. Make a wish.' He replied, 'That's an Iranian missile.'" Hundreds of thousands of people shared the post, laughing at the dark comedy of the situation. However, the punchline relies on a completely accurate geographical reality. Why exactly is a residential balcony in Lebanon positioned directly underneath the flight path of heavy foreign artillery? To understand how this joke actually happened, we have to map out the active transit corridor operating thousands of feet above the Middle East. From the ground, a town like Calais looks like an idyllic Mediterranean retreat. You have warm water, dense city streets, and incredibly scenic views. Yet, if you drive just a few dozen miles south from those beaches, you run directly into the heavily fortified border with Israel. Inside Lebanon, the official state shares internal power with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a heavily armed Shia Islamist political party and militant group that maintains a massive physical presence within the country's borders. They also maintain a deep strategic and financial alliance with Tehran, acting as a core pillar in what Iran calls the Axis of Resistance. The Axis of Resistance is a network of autonomous proxy militias backed by the Iranian government to project power across the region. Lebanon's internal politics and strategic location have turned the country into a contested buffer zone for foreign military interests. Over 600 miles separate Iran's western border from Israel's eastern edge. When Tehran strikes, weapons fly directly over the sovereign airspace of Iraq and Syria. The physics of ballistic trajectories force these weapons through a narrow geographic corridor directly over coastal Lebanon. We are talking about weapons measuring over 50 feet long and weighing tens of thousands of pounds, carrying heavy explosive payloads at hypersonic speeds. Tehran publicly frames the launch of these massive projectiles as necessary retaliation and defense of Palestinian territories against Israeli military actions. The result is that the airspace above densely populated civilian blocks has been effectively hijacked, repurposed into an unregulated transit corridor for regional warfare. Which brings us back to the couple having a barbecue in Calais. The Australian wife sees the glowing trail overhead through a naive lens of romance. Her Lebanese husband sees exactly what it is. Psychologists refer to this adaptation as normalizing conflict. Normalizing conflict is a coping mechanism where populations living under chronic threat alter their daily routines to function despite the presence of extreme danger. You can see this extreme adaptation firsthand. Just miles from an active conflict zone, cities like Beirut maintain packed nightclubs and a thriving evening culture that stubbornly continues even as tensions peak. The daylight hours require the same mental compartmentalization. Commuters and families go about their morning routines while streaks of smoke from rocket launches hang overhead in a clear blue sky. They finish their dinners and celebrate their weekends, even as the atmosphere above the Mediterranean lights up with the exhaust of incoming artillery. That viral tweet captures the reality of the modern Middle East, where abstract geopolitical strategy manifests as a physical streak of fire that interrupts a quiet dinner. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to follow our deep dives into the geography of global conflicts.